Scrap More with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and it's another episode of Free Pattern Friday. Yay! It's Free Pattern Friday. I love Fridays. I've been retired more than 10 years, and I still love Fridays. So today we're going to be playing with a block called White Cross. And yes, there's no white on this block, but we're playing with color placement today. So remember, we're going to have some fun with color placement in dark, medium, and light. But first, let's do our shout outs. Our shout out is Maggie Lampier. I'm hoping I'm saying your name right. And her channel is called Joy in the Seam, which is kind of, she's having a lot of fun over there. But the other one is Katie's Quilting Company. Now, both of these YouTube channels are going to be in our show notes below. And go check them out and say hi, you know, tell them that Brenda from Conquering Mount Scrapmore sent you. If you like what you see there, hit their subscribe button and make sure that you give them some words of encouragement. Now, all the other stuff we're going to talk about now is going to be in our show notes below or in the comments. The next sew along is called Twinkle Twinkle, and it starts February 25th. It's save your strings, sort them by color families. They'll help you get through the first couple of bits, the hard bits. We always do the hard bits first, and then we go into easier bits as we go. Sorting by color families and getting them all pressed and ready to go will help you so much for parts 1 and 2 and maybe 3. So that's up to you if you're going to join us. Now, if you don't like strings, you can just use whole pieces of fabric, and it's easier then for you, right? So, but color families is a good idea. 3/4 of an inch, but not larger than 2 inch. So kind of keep that in mind. You want them like a lot of variety in your sizes on the strings. We also have Zoom sew dates listed from for this year. Now, it's the first Saturday of every month from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, because I'm in Alberta, Canada. Make, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell. There's a hype button, I guess, now. If you could do all those things for us on our channel, that would help us push our analytics forward to help move our video forward out to more people. And then more people can see that we're giving away fun, free patterns 3 times a week. Also, the Facebook group is warm and welcoming. We have a virtual sewing room hosted by Discord. We have numerous fun community chats, and we have fabric exchanges by countries to keep the costs down. Also, the admin people have asked me to say, please answer the questions and agree to the rules, because it makes their job so much easier. And if you're not doing that, they won't let you in because you haven't answered the questions, you haven't agreed to the rules. Also, I speak for free to quilting guilds and quilting groups, and as of the end of December, I have 2 speaking presentations to give. So the first one is always a lot of fun. I'm still working right now when we're filming this. I'm still working on the second one. I haven't decided what I'm going to call it yet, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And there's a lot of things regarding quilting that people forget, right? So if you're looking for a speaker, my email address is under the About tab, or it's much faster for you to reach me through the Facebook group. So that there is, you know, helpful. Also, if you guys have shout outs, you see channels that are working hard and having fun and just having a blast, and it's interesting content that is quilting only, please send me a link either through the About tab, where there's an email address, or message me through the Facebook group. I'd be happy to give them a shout out. And a lot of my shout outs are coming from viewers that are just having a good time. So I think that's it. We've covered it all. Come on in. Let's get to the sewing of White Cross. Okay, we're at the sewing machine here. Now, this is one of these blocks that, yes, color placement is playing a lot of what's going on in here, and we're doing some Y seams. Now, we could sew the first, normally people would sew this together first, the centers, because that's your triangles. Don't do it. Even though you think that might be easier, don't do it. What we're doing now is we have the darks and the pale, and the darks and the pale, right? And the orange and the yellow. So all of those are cut the same, and it's you measure the 7, I think it's 7 1/4. Let me just look quickly at the pattern here. Look at the 7 1/4. 2 inch by 7 1/4, and you cut them all the same way. Then you trim off at a 45-degree angle. Now, everybody's ruler, if you have good quality quilting tools, you have a 45-degree angle. You can do this. These are cut for 3 1/2, right? So this is one of those blocks that's easier to do. So what we're going to do, and we lay them out, the yellow goes with the orange, and the orange goes with the yellow. So that's how we're breaking this up. And what we're going to do is we're going to sew this piece together first, then this piece. That way we eliminate 2 Y seams, right? Now that, I know that sounds a little weird, but yes, we're eliminating Y seams just by sewing it differently. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to line this up. Now, you want this. I'm just going to mark this for you guys so you can see this. Where's my pencil? And of course I can't find a pencil. The one thing I need today I can't find. Oh, there it is. Okay, so with your magic wand, you're going to mark where this starts. And it's 1/4 inch in. Oops, I can't mark that way. Hang on. It's 1/4 inch in. I'm just going to put that there. And we're going to mark this right here. And right here. Okay, now that X is telling us where you start. That little X I just created is going to tell you where I start. Right here. Okay, now what you're doing with this is you're putting this and this together like so, right? So you're going to have to find out where you start on this piece. Right, like so. Just like this and like this. And you're going to make another X just like this, right? You guys focus there. Okay. So we're going to put all that back together. So this X has to match up with the X on the back. Right now I'm just going to put that away because we don't need it really. And we're just going to put the pin right in the center. And then we're going to put the pin right in the center here. And that's going to tell us how to line up this block. Right? And it's just, and what happens is you have a little bit more of the triangle hanging out, the other side of the triangle hanging out than you do. So let's get this all lined up under, get the light on. Now once you get the first one sewn, you can kind of replicate what you're doing, what you've done, and where you've marked that, square. Now you're just going to come out the other side, just like so. Okay, now let's take another one that's just like that. And we're going to lay that out just like so, with that much hanging out on both sides. And there we go. We're going to do that. Here. Now when I was looking at this, white, my husband even said it, there's no white. There's no white in this. These pale colors, these palest of colors, could be used as white in any other block. So yes, there is a low volume component with this. This is what gives it that, you know, that magical thing that's going on. So there we go. Now we're gonna line that one up just the same. Okay. Now with this, because you're getting good at now doing this layout, you're going to do this. Oops, no, you're not gonna do it that way. You're gonna do it this way, because it's going to lie out exactly the same. So you're just going to push all of these through, just like so. There we go. And just have that just like this. There, line it up. You can kind of see where once you draw the one, you can kind of see where you're drawing the other one. And like I say too, you could do this really scrappy, happy, crazy, and still have fun with this. You know, that's entirely up to you how you want to do this. Yeah, this is just... But playing with that dark, medium, and light, that I decided to do a little more color coordinated, but that's okay. You could do it scrappy, but you have to play with the dark, medium, light, and put your dark, medium, light in the same spot, right? That's going to help you out here quite a bit. I'll get rid of that pin before it ends up on the floor and in my foot. So let's just get all this back. Okay, so we're going to fold this to the dark. So the dark, we're folding it open, sorry, we're just finger pressing it quickly open, just like that. And putting that in. Yeah, you want to press open. That's right, you press open. Open, press open. There we go. All of these things get pressed open. And we're pressing open because we need to know when to turn the... There we go. Just lay that out. We need to know when to turn on our Y seam. Now, I have a plate on my sewing machine that lets me know, because it's just a little hole, right? And you guys are like, yeah, but we don't have that. Well, if you get a different sewing machine, or you can also, let's see. Yeah, most sewing machines come with 2 plates, but if yours doesn't, well, then you have to do your seams the way you were told, you know, how to do an inset seam, right? But this gets really quickly done. This is where the advantage of some of these older sewing machines. There we go. Just press that one there. Now, what we're going to do, oops. Okay. There, just like that. Now, what I'm going to do, oops, I got that there. Okay, so I'm going to pick up this one first. Now we're going to line up the points, the very, very end points, and we're going to sew them first. And now I've got my piece that has been, that's going to show me where to stop and where to pivot. So I can go right up into that pivot line. Okay, and just give it a little pull back. Okay, and now I'm going to pivot right here, so that I can continue my seam, and suddenly this thing all of a sudden will lie flat. It works every time. You just wiggle and wiggle and wiggle, and you wiggle some more. Sometimes you gotta wiggle a bit, and there we go. And lying flat. Okay, there. And again, you line up the seam. Yeah, just perfect. There we go. And now you know exactly where to pivot. Perfect. Now this is going to go open just like this. And yes, you can press this all open if you'd like. That's, you know, it's not necessary, but I mean, if you want to, that works. And we're going to go just like that. And pivot around, and suddenly this falls into place. Sometimes it takes a little convincing, but most of the times it's good. There we go. There. And we take the next piece. We just start working our way around now, right? So, an update on the kittens. They are no longer kittens, they are teenagers. And like all teenagers, they're a little awkward, but they're adorable and lovable. And I sometimes wonder what we did before kittens, but anyways. Ollie and Giles are their names. Giles is more cuddly than Ollie. Ollie takes it as a necessary evil, I guess. He kind of perceives it as a necessary, yes, I will allow you to pet me kind of thing. There we go. There. But yeah, they're awkward teenager stage. So they don't jump as well as, they haven't got enough practice jumping. So sometimes they jump and do silly things. But that's okay. There. Yeah, just take yourself, line this all up. There. Once you master these seams this way, these Y seams. There's so many more beautiful blocks you can make. So this one is truly worth mastering, you know, because, and it's only like, I've got 4 Y seams. The way I'm sewing it together, I only have 8 Y seams, and the rest of it just falls together perfectly. There we go, just like that. It just falls together perfectly, just because, you know, you've taken the time to cut them correctly, and you've taken the time to lay them out, and yeah, it's a nice block to sew. There we go. There. There we go. Yeah, so anyways, they also like to sing the song of their people at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's like, ugh. Cats, right? Male cats to boot, right? So they're a lot of fun, but yeah, we have not set up. We're filming this in November, and so we haven't set up our Christmas tree or anything yet. And this will be their very first Christmas. So I'm wondering how much devastation and destruction will be occurring in our home. We're just gonna turn it around like that, just so I have the ones to sew easy closer to me. But yeah, it's been pretty good so far. I'm glad. I still think about that cat we left behind at the cat rescue. She was a 5-year-old black cat, just gorgeous face, gorgeous, yeah, just beautiful. And my heart goes out to her because she will have the hardest time being adopted because she's 5 years old, right? So it's like, yeah, there's that. And we're just gonna spin this. There we go. Spin this and make this happen. There. There we go. I'm gonna put this together just like so. Everything kind of comes together the same way, right? So once you get the hang of it, it doesn't take long to build the rest of your block, right? So yes, just give it a quick little finger press. And sometimes, there we go, that's pushed out. Sometimes you end up with a micro pucker. And here's a micro pucker just right there. And sometimes you can just scratch that micro pucker out with your nail. So don't be too quick to rip these open and start over. If there's one with a pucker I can't smooth out, I'll redo it. I'll show you how to redo them. Sometimes it's the way the fabric is, or it's going to be your day for a pucker. You know, that's all there's to it. And last one. Okay. There we go. Okay. I broke both nails on my finger pointers, so I don't really have good pressing fingers anymore. So yeah, that's not fair. Okay, I've got one micro pucker right there, but it's gone now. Okay, okay, get that under the foot. Okay, now I'm going to, we have one pucker. Oh no, that'll iron out. Do I have any puckers that we need to redo? No, that's gonna iron out. I don't. Okay, well I guess I don't get to show you. Unless, of course, it's here on this last one. I might have one. Now I want to show you if you do get one. Just sometimes a micro pucker happens when you're doing it this way, and it's because I'm spinning it too fast. And lots of times you can just scratch it out with your nail, right? Just by scratching this at the seam, and all of a sudden it falls into place. And it's like, okay, well, I spent all that time worrying about nothing. But anyway, so now we're gonna sew these together. Now, what I like to do is I like to pin where these are going to nest, because they're not nesting because they've been pressed open, so they're not going to nest. Okay, so we just want to take them and sew. Oops, get that corner lined up, just nice and neat. Here. And we do that 3 more times. Yay! Okay, line that up. There, you can see right where it needs to go. Push in your pin. Yeah. Perfect. And you just look on the other side to make sure it's put in the right spot. And you want to go right down in that seam on both sides. That's another one that's perfect. Awesome. Now you line up this. Oops. Ooh. Well, that was not good. Oh dear. What have I done? So there is the first block, and I'm just going to trim off the tail. And there. Okay, here's our first block. Right now, you can press this open if you'd like. That, you know, just to stay with the theme of press open. And sometimes blocks lie much flatter when everything is pressed open. It's got nothing to do with the fabric or you or your sewing technique or anything else. Sometimes it just, that's the way it is, right? And we have to kind of deal with it that way. Okay. Oh, it's still sewing. Okay, next up. All right, here. Okay, oops, just off just a hair. There we go. Yeah, perfect. It's funny to see me pin anything. But anyways, I do pin. I do know how. Oops, that's just off just a hair. Let's get right there, right in the middle. There we go. Here. Right up to the seam, but not in over the pin, or right up to the pin. And yeah, everything's lying nice and flat. There we go. And just press this open again. And there, just lay that down like so, and pull the next one, the last one. There we go. Yep, perfect. Nice. Okay, last up. Last one to... Right up to the pin, and pull the pin just before you hit it. So hitting your pin only dulls your needle. Okay, now we are going to press open again. Whew. There we go. There. Just give it a nice squishing. Give it a nice squishing, and there we go. Get that out. Okay, last up. Last one, and then we can either trim before we sew, which might be a better idea. You trim off these little dog ears on all four corners, because then that way it makes your sewing easier. Okay. So I'll show you what I mean. So you have dog ears on every corner. So because we've pressed open, you know, like you got to take and trim them off now. And you just trim them off like that. It's very quick. You don't get too crazy about which way is which. You just make sure that you're laying them out the back into the same spot. Now these look a little ruffled because I've been manhandling them under the sewing machine, but you know, if I cut them right and I've sewed them right, and now I press them, not iron, press them correctly, it should be a lovely flat block when I'm done. There. Just and last one. There we go. Now the cutting instructions talk about darks and pales, darks and lights. And that's kind of important, how you play with your color placement here. Because your color placement is going to give the block movement, right? So now we've got all of this ready to go. I'm just going to push this all off to the side for the pet bed that eventually I'll be making for a very large dog, because I've got lots of these little bits. So this is what it's going to lay out. Now it creates kind of a pinwheel effect. So you just want to push them over like that and line them up. Take your time to line them up. You know, make sure all those points are nice and flat, and get that first seam done. And down here you want to make sure they're nice and flat again. And everything is lining up good. Nothing gets flipped open or closed. You want to have all of that. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. And the second seam goes in like this. Oops, there we go. And you just assemble it like a 4-patch. Like any 4-patch that you would do any given day. This is such a nice little, now, there we go. Oops, check to make sure. Yeah, it flipped on me. So, there we go. And just like that, oops, just like that, you've got those two done. Now I'm going to take the time to press open. No, I'm not. I'm going to go against the grain. I am going to make that one swirl in the center because I think it will lie flatter. And sometimes it's hard to line them up. There we go. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this one going this way and this seam going that way, right? So that we get a nice nest in the middle, because you want that point in the middle to be just perfect. There we go. And you just have to crank it over one stitch, and you've got it matched. And you can match up the other end. Now, for some reason, this dark gold seems a little bit... Okay. Yeah, and I flipped again. Okay, I've got it open, and we're good. We're happy. Now, so with this, everything is pressed open except for this 4 seam. And this is what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to take this open and I'm going to swirl it so that one seam will go this way. One seam goes this way. So basically now those seams swirl to lie a really flat center. You want a really flat center on this block. And if, you know, swirling that seam is going to make it for you, that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to give this a nice press and get back to you on for the ta-da moment. Well, here's our big ta-da moment on White Cross. This is kind of a cute work play, you know, play on more neutrally tones or more, there's not a lot of contrast here, but we are working with dark, medium, and light. Now, I decided to go with oranges and yellows because they're not too contrasty, but you could go as wild and as loud as you wanted. Now, I will be honest with you, I did end up with a little bit of fullness in this area here, the center area here. And mostly it was this fabric. So I think this fabric stretched a bit as it was being pressed, but I'm not taking it out. I think it will, what fullness is there will quilt out. I mean, really, we're talking like less than 1/8 of fullness will probably quilt out quite lovely. So, but I do hope you give this one a try. And like I say, I picked a fabric that just started to stretch. So, I mean, not all of us can, not every block is going to be perfect, right? But this one is a good one to master and have in your repertoire. So, I hope everything's going great for you and your 1/4 inch seam is right on the money and life is treating you very gently. So, stay well and take care until we meet each other again. Okay, bye! My husband and I would like to thank you for all of your support and watching our videos and sharing and liking. It has just been, you've put us on such an amazing journey and we are having so much fun. I hope everything is going so well in your life and, you know, your 1/4 inch is perfect. Everything is working out for you. And we're just so happy to be part of your life and you having, like I say, you're watching us. I was just so thrilled that you're doing that. So I want to say goodbye and I want to thank you with all my heart. Okay? Take care. Bye.